But day before he would get unnerved, he would walk around the room and he would get very disturbed and under high stress. So his secretary said that, "Sir, why do you accept the invitation if you cannot handle it?" Speaker said, "But it is for the love of introduction." That I accept. So I'm not, I hope to be a servant of of the Shah of Medina, but I'm not actually a Shah, and it has never been part of my name. Ladies and gentlemen, it's once again a great honor and a privilege to be here this morning with those who are passionately interested in the field of Islamic economics and banking. I'm very delighted to welcome our distinguished guest sitting on the stage, Justice Khalil, who is the beacon light of Islamic economics and the path breaker in this field by announcing, formulating the landmark decision on riba when he was the Chief Justice. Dr. Razanfar has been the Chief Chairman of the Department of Economics in University of Idaho, and he was here on vacation. He contacted me, and I thought it would be a good time for him that he can spend here, and we look forward to his thoughts perhaps after my speech. Dr. Aisha Maniza is from Maldives and Minister. Maldives, again a scholar in Islamic economics. Dr. Ahmed sitting on the stage. Dr. Nizamuddin has been a patron of intellectual and academic gatherings and has always made himself available. His duties on desk and on job never hindered his presence in the venues and avenues where something of interest is being talked and discussed, and guests from all over the world and nation have come together. So thank you very much, all of you, for making yourself available to this event. I wish to congratulate Director of Islamic Institute of Islamic Banking for organizing this conference, the team of Institute of Islamic Banking, Dr. Talad, faculty members and students who once again took this task upon themselves and organized a very successful conference. They say that the first conference is a chance, the second is continuity, and third is a tradition. So I think now this conference has become certified as a tradition, and we hope to see this every year, inshallah, in future. As maybe I have shared before, my own interest in Islamic economics started when I passed the intermediate examination, and I was in UK visiting my parents, and there was the first international conference on Islamic economics held in London in the year 1977. That conference was a new beginning. I saw scholars, practitioners, executives, policymakers, government officials coming from all over the world, I think more than 50 countries, from advanced countries, from developing countries, from Muslim countries, from Europe, Asia. They got together and they spent 3 days together. That was the first conference, and perhaps that was a milestone. Before that, there were writings, there were thoughts projected by scholars from having religious background and trying to make a case for Islamic banking and Islamic economics. And most of them were ridiculed, most of them were not given any serious hearing. It was set at that time, and I witnessed that that how could a interest-free, riba-free banking can exist, can take place, can function in the modern times. So that was the situation. But they were lonely voices, but they were very assured, confident, and they make a rational case that how to set up an Islamic financial institutions in the light of the teachings of Quran and Sunnah, and how we can go about it, how we can initiate it. That was a pioneering effort, a bold and courageous effort, and it has paid. They were not shy of making a point across, and they used the modern template. They understood how the dynamics of modern economy function, and then they situated the principles of Islamic economics in that scenario and tried to make an attempt to present the case. And I think it was a very unique conference. Islamic Development Bank, of course, is known as perhaps the first bank in that direction, which came after the OIC conference in Morocco, I believe. So there was then a series of initiatives taken by different people in different places. Institutions for research in Islamic economics came up in Jeddah, in Islamabad, International Islamic University, in Malaysia, in other places. But practitioners, policymakers, ulamas from the religious institutions, bankers, and those who were concerned the way world economy is going forward, they all were unanimous in the view that Islamic economics has a credible approach to solve the problems and to respond to the challenges. And I think we must pay credit to them, and we must pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for good rewards to them for what they did in those times. And that is perhaps a very inspiring story, that if there is a case presented and if there is an argument and the effort goes on consistently with commitment, then there are results. Today, it's known to be this field of Islamic financial institutions is known to be about 1.5 to 2 trillion dollars, and is increasing at a faster growth rate, which is a testimony to the point of view. We can argue what's happening and how it is happening, but yes, there is a movement, and there is a credible, significant movement right now, and we can relish and we can enjoy, we can take pride in that movement. Since then, a lot of work has done and a lot of progress has been made in this field. This conference is another step in that direction. The objective, of course, is like any other conference, to organize a gathering of scholars in Islamic economics, finance and banking, have a free interaction among themselves to see what's new research, what are new ideas, and to understand the new insights, to share point of view, to understand what are the problems that are being faced by the practitioners, by enterprises, by institutions, and what are the solutions that have come to the fore in different places, what are the experiments that are going on, so that we can all enlighten ourselves with the cutting edge, and we understand where this field stands as of now. In contrast to the other different kinds of disciplines, the onus of the development of this field doesn't lie in the Ivy League institutions in the advanced countries, where we would normally rely upon for any further development or research. If there will be any development in this field, it will come when there will be committed research being undertaken among those who believe in this, and who are practicing it. So the responsibility for further development, for refinement of the idea, for critical evaluation of what's going on lies upon our shoulders. And it is us who have to take these steps forward on the one hand to implement and apply what is already there, and on the other hand to ensure that we develop this as a discipline on the basis of the theory and principles, and we further expand the boundaries of this discipline, and we make sure that this discipline doesn't fall behind the pace of development of the world, and this discipline is in fact able to lead the world, and it is ahead of its time, and it's coming up with the right solutions, right strategies in time. So I think that is the responsibility that lies upon our shoulders. So this conference is not just like any other gathering where people would come, they meet, they greet, and they share pleasantries, and they know each other, and then they go away. If we are here, then we have a task to perform. We have a responsibility to undertake, to find new questions, new answers, and to enter into a long-term dialogue and discussion for the benefit of those who are in this field, and for the help and to facilitate the practitioners, and to encourage and promote research in this very important field. One thing that we need to realize and we need to understand is that if there are Islamic banks today coming up, springing forth in every corner, and if mainstream banks are opening not just Islamic windows for Islamic banking, but a stand-alone alternative for Islamic banking, it is happening not because there is any advertising campaign going on. It is happening not because there is any World Bank or IMF regulation taking place and prompting them to do that. It is not because there is any other structural change that is binding them to opt for Islamic economics. The only reason it is happening, and it is moving forward, and it is progressing and accelerating at a faster rate, is that people among the Muslims countries and wherever Muslims are, they are increasingly looking forward to Islamic banking as a source of their financial arrangements and financial transactions. And they want to have an Islamic alternative. They want to have a system which they can refer to and they can take advantage if they are looking for investments for their companies, or if they want to deposit their personal surplus money, or if they want to make any transaction with any other global players for their business, for trade. So it is the call from the people, the demand is from the people that is forcing them. None of the banks today first conducted a billions of rupees advertising campaign to draw the attention of people, to convince people that go for Islamic banking. They have been made to do that by the demand of the people. So it has it has achieved this momentum only on the basis of the demand, only on the basis of the pull from the people. It is not the result of any push. So once we realize that it is the demand of people, here comes the moral and ethical responsibility that since it is not something which has come about as a result of any marketing strategy, so it has come because of the conscious people who want an alternate. So there has to be a fair and faithful and honest arrangement which would really satisfy people what they're really looking forward to, and which should be closer and closer to their expectation, and which should be aligned to what actually is required, and which should be in true spirit of what is needed and what is called for. There is no room and there is no space for any compromise or any game or any mix-up which would be not fair to the expectations of people. And that's how we also know that is the first principle of even marketing for any products. So here is this responsibility once again for us, and which again adds to the responsibilities of our scholars, researchers, practitioners, teachers, academics, policymakers, that we need to be true and we need to be truthful, we need to be fair, and we need to be honest in what we do in the name of Islamic economics, banking, and finance. Ladies and gentlemen, conferences are about new questions and answers to the old questions and new answers. Conferences are about new horizons. Conferences are about extending the frontiers of knowledge. Conferences are about innovation, and it is about debate and discussion, and it is about critical evaluation and examination of what's going on. So we draw your attention to the problems that the world is facing right now. What are the world's biggest challenges? And how the field of Islamic economics, finance, and banking can respond to it? So that's the first question. So that we ensure that Islamic economics, finance, and banking remains relevant to the problems and challenges of the world. That's the first task. Second, how dynamics of political economy are changing and what directions it is taking in the future, so that this is important for us, so that Islamic economics, finance, and banking remains significant and relevant player in the future. We cannot work in isolation. We cannot just confine ourselves into a box and think inside. We have to further relate ourselves to our context. So we need to see how the context is changing, how the world political economy is changing, how trade and investment is changing, and then we need to see that how Islamic economics, finance, and banking is best suited to respond to that. Third, what is the new research and new findings overall in the mainstream economics? We can benefit from that. There is tremendous research that's going on. Thousands of economics researchers, analysts are geared up and spending their day and night with millions of dollars and rupees around the world, in all countries, in all situations, for all issues and problems. So we need to relate ourselves to that unfolding body of research and draw the lessons for us. So we have to have a very active interface with the mainstream research that's going on in the field of economics, politics, sociology, political economy, and overall in the field of society and human behavior. And to see that how it really informs us, how it enriches us, and how it enlightens us. Fourth, what is the state of conventional banking and financial arrangements and financial regulations, financial institutions in the world, and how it is revamping and changing itself, reconfiguring itself? What are their successes and failures today, so that we can again learn from that? So we need to again have a window to the conventional banking for our own benefit. And fifth, we need to see within ourselves that where is the new knowledge coming for Islamic economics, finance, and banking? What are the top 5, 10 journals in this field? what are the 10, 20 leading minds in this field, so that we can draw inspiration from them, we can look up to them, we can see what are the guidelines that they are sharing with us right now. So we need to develop this momentum for the continued development of this discipline, so that this discipline is increased in its respect and repute and dignity, and it can steer the field onwards, and its development is ahead of its time. Sixth, we also need to assess the performance and progress of financial institutions and enterprises that have come about with the guidelines of Islamic economics. We need to see what is their niche, how they are surviving, what has been their progress on the path of institutional development, and what is the view of stakeholders, regulators, executives, board members, managers, customers, and others about their performance. So there is a need of fair assessment of the performance of the current financial institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, Islamic economics work within the regulatory environment. So there is a deep relationship with the government, with central banks, with civil society, and with community at large. So there is the need again to see that strategic linkage and see what's new in this whole ecosystem, so that the field is once again tailored and tuned according to those needs. So this conference is, although it's like just any other conference, but I really hope for some very interesting, illuminating, enlightening thinking. I hope for courageous and bold thinking. I hope for and I wish a radical, substantive, holistic viewpoint, so that we can come up with amazing solutions and surprise the field, the stakeholders, those who are the experts in this area, with our thinking, because we believe that what we have got is the right approach. And if we believe in that this is the right approach, then if we are short on performance, then it is our lacking, it is our shortcoming, not in what we believe. I once again thank everyone who are here, our students, faculty members, professors and academics from other universities, scholars, presenters, researchers, and I wish you all 2 very interesting and exciting days. Thank you.